Hello everyone, Dragon84 here and welcome to something completely different. So, someone on my channel asked me, so what do you think about the new update? And I was like, you know what, I could actually record a video talking about the update. This will be a bit of a shorter video, should be fine. I don't know if people even want to see this, but you know what, if people want to see this, let's do it. So I'm just going to talk about the balance stuff. A lot of other stuff isn't all that interesting for what we're talking about here. Content patch 14 generally buffs a few things, but uh, there are some things that aren't buffs. So we'll see what happens on a case-by-case basis. Overall, though, it seems like the game has gotten a tiny touch easier, but not by that much. A lot is just small tweaks. Um, so there would have been UI scaling options, but apparently that was a bit on the difficult side. I'm a programmer myself, and I know that things that seem easy can be a lot more difficult than they seem. Anyway, let's just go to here. New content. So symbols have been modified, items have been modified. Very interesting. Multiple copies of common, uncommon, rare, or very rare items can now be obtained once a rarity's item pool has been depleted, which means that this is only relevant for endless runs. But I mean, you can just get multiples of, I don't know, Rusty gear, for example, right? Multiple copies of Birdhouse, of whatever, anything. It's interesting, but not very relevant for the types of runs that we're talking about. New features, trading cards, profile backgrounds, Steam emoticons. The prompts now have a slight delay, so a lot of things. Billionaire's guillotine stat now increases by 1 when you guillotine yourself, which makes sense. So, and credits, fine. Game balance, this is what we're here for. So, let's see. Adoption paper at Essence now gives 77 coins when destroyed instead of 33 coins. I like this change. Adoption papers, Essence. The thing is that a lot of animals, when you add them, don't actually make your deck all that much better. If you happen to be on crabs already, then adding more crabs is very easy. If you want to add more cats for a reason, right? If you already have 3 cows, for example, you just want to add more and more cats. If you have a diver, you can add snails and turtles, but in a lot of cases, you don't want to add a lot of animals. So the reward is bigger because it's just more difficult to achieve. I like this change. It's not that big, but it's I think it's good. So cardboard box triggers every 10 spins instead of every 9 spins. Yeah, removals are just so incredibly strong late game that I think it makes sense to have it just be a little bit weaker. I don't think we'll notice this one, but it's the small things. Credit card now triggers every 7 spins instead of every 10 spins. Now, you don't see credit card all that often. I haven't played with it a lot, but it doesn't trigger a lot. I've mostly had credit card Essence, which only triggers once. But yeah, the thing is that rares aren't all that likely to show up, so it makes sense to have it be a little more often, because a lot of the things you see aren't all that relevant. So it's not the most powerful item, so having it happen more often makes sense. Cursed Katana can no longer make ninjas common instead of uncommon. There's a thing here about This is interesting. Cursed Katana's change might seem like a nerf, but it's intended to be a buff. Most players won't consider taking Cursed Katana over other items if they if they don't already have Ninja anyway. With this in mind, ninjas remaining uncommon actually makes it easier to find ninjas if the player has increased rarity odds from symbols such as Rabbit Fluff or from being at a later rent payment. That's something to keep in mind. I've noticed that a lot of times when I have picked up the Cursed Katana is when I was actively going for cultists too. It's not something that should happen, but it has happened multiple times. So if I already had copies of Hex of Tedium, for example, I would be more likely to pick up a Cursed Katana. Anyway, I don't think this changes that much, but it does mean that if you have a bunch of Rabbit Fluffs and stuff like that, that you might actually be more likely to see more ninjas. I don't know how I feel about this change yet. I do think that the extra text of making the ninjas common instead of uncommon, it doesn't need it, and so it's cleaner this way, and I don't think it's notable. No, it's going to be all that noticeable. Devil's Deal Essence now gives 33 coins when destroying this instead of 66 coins. Yeah, Devil's Deal Essence was very strong. I think there have been just a bunch of times when I just started auto-picking it because it was that strong. 66 is a better number for the Devil's Deal, but it was just too strong. I definitely think this is a good change. Will definitely no longer be an auto-pick, but 33 coins means that it's still on par with... there are a bunch of essences that reward you with 30 coins, and it's just on par with those. I'm thinking, does the White Pepper Essence give 30? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I like this change. It will make for a lot better decision making. More interesting decisions. Flush now gives 77 coins when destroyed instead of 50 coins. Definitely agree with that. Flush is very difficult to achieve. The thing with Flush is that it's just going to, you have to already have a very specific thing going on if you're going to have that go on. So, that's Flush. Flush Essence now gives 77 coins when destroyed. It makes sense that they are on par. Think it's basically the same thing. Yeah, it's just the same thing. Grave Robber now gives a 66% chance of destroying stuff instead of 50% chance. I think that makes sense. It's just a very bad feeling when you have picked up a Grave Robber and then you pick up an urn and it just refuses to break for like 6 spins and then you just fall behind. I don't think the change is all that big because eventually they'll break, but it's a small buff and I think it makes sense. Lockpick now gives a 35% chance of being destroyed instead of 30% chance. Think that's mathematically just fine. Again, small buff. Don't know how noticeable it will be, but I like it. But I mean, you should really do math on this if you want to know for sure. Actually, I'm gonna look at the reasoning behind this. Lockpick hasn't been modified for a long time, but at the time it had its destruction chance increased from 20 to 30% to decrease the number of times a run was lost simply due to the item not triggering. The change is being done for the same reason. Yeah. Apparently, math says that it needed a small buff. I don't know if it did. I don't tend to make big gambles on stuff like this, but it's something to keep in mind. Lockpick Essence did have a 75% of breaking, now it has 100%. I think that makes sense. I mean, essences tend to be just one and done things, and yeah, giving 100% of breaking it feels better. It just feels a lot better. Again, not a very big change because 75% is already a pretty big number, and it was very rare that it didn't break pretty quickly. Looting Glove Essence now gives a 3.5 times multiplier instead of a 3 times multiplier. Yeah, just there's a lot of small buffs like this where, alright, Looting Glove Essence is just fine. It's not game breaking or anything, but if you want to score big with it, then you really can, and this helps. Swear Jar Essence now gives 50 coins when destroyed instead of 40 coins. It's pretty good. But the bigger change there is that Swear Jar Essence now has a threshold of 25 coins instead of 20 coins. Now, the thing is that essences show up relatively late, and it's not that rare to already have passed 25 coins when you see them. I'm not sure how relevant this is going to be. The developer has changed things like these around. I think these values have been going up and up and up for a while, and it's really difficult to know when it's going to be enough. I'm not sure if this is going to make me pick Swear Jar Essence more. I think it might still not be enough, and in fact, I'm not 100% sure that Swear Jar Essence and Swear Jar in general is going to be good for a game in the long run. Because the thing is that these are just very early game items that keep on showing up later, and it just pollutes your item pool, your essence pool. So, I don't know. I'm not against these existing, but I'm not sure if the current form is the best thing for the game. That said, I mean, these changes are good. It's a bigger reward for something that is a little less rare now, so it's fine. Telescope now triggers every 3 spins instead of every 4 spins. Yeah. Telescope used to be the most busted item when it was every spin, and every 4 spins, it's fine, and it can really carry a run, but it's not broken. I like the idea of trying it every 3 spins and just see how it goes. Haven't experienced it, but given that it's a very rare item, it's not that bad to have it be just very good when you get it, but just not always automatically winning the run. So I think this is a fine change. I don't have a strong feeling about it, because Telescope just doesn't show up that much, so I'm not sure how impactful this is. Alright, Wanted poster now affects thieves whether they're destroyed or not. Still won't multiply a negative value. I don't know what that means exactly. Wanted poster not caring about thieves being destroyed for its multiplier is an incredibly minor change, but will come into effect if a thief is buffed by Robin Hood, along with a few other rare instances. So, given that I don't really pick up thieves a lot, this is unlikely to affect me a lot. I don't know. It's probably fine. I mean, it's a buff again. Don't mind that. Wanted poster essence now gives 2.5x multiplier instead of a 2 times multiplier. Yeah, I've said before that the developer just keeps on buffing thieves and buffing them and buffing them because they're so situational that, right, the most probable reason for me to want a thief It's because I've already picked up a monkey and maybe I already have a banana peel. If I don't already have a banana peel, I'm very unlikely to pick it up because bananas just aren't that common. I mean, they're literally common and banana peels are common too, but you know what I'm saying, right? Um, at some point, I've said it again, at some point, this just becomes a decent strategy. But even when the rewards for doing this are massive, right? I mean, I have definitely won runs because I was able to kill a thief at the right time. Even if the rewards are massive, it's never going to be a consistent strategy. Um, Yesterday I had a run where I had Ricky the Banana, and I had like 6 banana peels, and I was just desperately trying to go for to find a thief to get rid of them. In fact, yesterday was the day when I discovered that a thief landing next to multiple banana peels only destroys one of them. But for that entire run, I only saw a single banana peel, so a single thief. It's an uncommon, and it's not that likely to show up. So I don't know how much this actually affects things in the long run. Right, watering can essence now makes seeds to give 20 more coins instead of 25 more coins. I'm gonna read that one again. Watering can essence was too powerful if the player went multiple spins without a seed growing. I had many runs where I added a seed to my inventory after picking up a watering can essence and got 100 coins for the item. I'm keeping an eye on this one. It may be necessary to nerf it further. I never really tried this, but hearing it now, the math actually does check out. I mean, a lot of essences give 20 money total, and just the fact that this thing can stay around and just keep on giving you money, that's very strong. Yeah, I definitely underestimated this one. Just didn't think about it that much because watering can and seed just aren't that great. I mean, a seed is often just actively bad for you, and watering can actually makes watering can essence give less, which is also interesting. I'm interested to see what goes on with this, and I'm probably going to try watering can essence now because 100% I underestimated this. Bear now gives 40 coins for each honey it destroys instead of 35 coins. Small buff, and let's actually read that one. Bear and Dame giving 40 coins for each symbol they destroy is more in line with how hard an uncommon plus rare plus symbol combo is to pull off. That's actually a very good point. This also makes a build with Maxwell the Bear and Beehives more viable. Dame has the upside of buffing gem symbols, so a combo being rare and rare and giving the same amount as Bear's uncommon and rare combo is fine. Yeah. One of the things that I have talked about, I think, is just the fact that Bear is fine on its own, and Honey is a rare and Beehive is a rare, and you're just not that likely to have those show up. So, if you're trying to use the Bear with honeys, for example, if you have Maxwell the Bear essence, I mean, that one actually triggers off of a bear eating honey. I don't know. That's... I can see the fact that it needed a bigger payoff. That said, it's not that big of a change, but it's the small things. Bee now gives an additional coin for each flower, beehive, or honey it's adjacent to. That's actually a pretty big one. I mean, Bee has been underpowered. It has gotten better a little bit, but right, it already buffed the beehive. But the bee, the fact that when you have a bee and a flower, now they both become a 2-value symbol, and then you can buff it further with additional flowers. That actually makes be an interesting part of a flower run. I haven't really done those because they're just so difficult to make work consistently, and pretty often when I get to the point where it might start getting strong, something else had gotten stronger. Um, but this buff to the bee should really help things along. So I'm gonna experiment with this, see how it works. Billionaire now gives 39 coins when destroyed instead of 35 coins. Should have been 40, but the billionaire just got a tax break. That's actually in the the reasons for the balance change. I don't know, it's fine. Billionaires aren't that consistent. They mostly just exist to for flavor reasons, but also, I mean, if you already have the guillotine, you can start picking up a few billionaires. You don't see them a lot, but when you do, 39 coins, that's just pretty decent. The thing is 40, 40, 40, everything giving 40, that works. Now, this is the big one. I had expected this one earlier, but now it's here. Dove now has its permanent bonus increased by 1 coin instead of 2 coins. The fact that you only had to destroy one symbol for the dove to be a 4-value symbol, that was just much too strong. Now it's a lot more in line with other symbols. It's still very easy to abuse, but the +2 coins for every destroyed item, yeah, that was just absurd. This is the only one in this entire list that was really needed. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think this is the right number, actually. Right, a 2-value symbol that becomes a 3-value symbol, then a 4-value symbol, and at that point it's really in line with the archaeologist or the diver or whatever, Mrs. Fruit. Yeah, I think this is the right number. Hooligan now gives 6 coins for each symbol he destroys. Yeah, it didn't used to give coins for each symbol that he destroyed. It brings it more in line with other things, so I think that's a decent change. Don't think it needed it, but it makes sense. Now, this is also a big one. Robin Hood now gives 25 coins for every 4 spins instead of 29 coins. Robin Hood used to be an auto pickup. Even if you didn't have right, checkered flag or tax evasion or whatever, or even arrows. With these numbers, he gives 2.25 on base. Now that's not that bad for a rare, but it means that if you don't have anything that it combos with, you have to think about if you really want him. I think that's a good change, but it completely makes me reevaluate how good or bad he is. That said, I mean, if you have tax evasion, he becomes better anyway, and right, checkered flag makes him a lot better. We have apples, targets, arrows, thieves even. So the fact that there are so many ways to make Robin Hood better, I think this is the right change, but it makes me a little bit sad because Robin Hood was just so good, and because he got buffed a lot, he just needed this change. So yeah, I agree that this is a good change, but well, nothing to be done about it. Spirit now gives 6 coins each spin instead of 4 coins each spin. That's a big buff. It means that early game spirits are going to be much more impactful, and it also fixes a problem that there was where if you had Undertaker, right? Undertaker prevents spirits from being destroyed, then that wouldn't be a consistent strategy, right? Even if everything would go perfect from that point on, um, it wouldn't work, because once you go for 777, and your whole board is just 4 value symbols, you just lose. It's just not good enough. So with 6, that means that if your whole board is just spirits, it's still possible to win. I think this is a change that is needed, just because game balance has been tweaked over time, and spirits just needed this change to be competitive. That said, it means that an early grave robber or an early hooligan actually have gotten a lot better. So this is another one of those changes that actually makes the game a little bit easier. That said, I don't think that's a bad change. Tomb now has a 6% chance of adding a spirit instead of a 5% chance, and it adds 4 spirits when destroyed instead of 5 spirits. So it being a little bit more likely to add a spirit, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to notice this change, and honestly, I want to see. Tomb has its values tweaked to reflect the changes to spirits, primarily for flavor reasons, the recurring values of 6 and 4. Oh, that actually makes sense. The fact that spirits give 6 and you have 6% chance to add them. But also proved a bit too powerful when adding 5 buff spirits when destroyed. Yeah, the fact that spirits now give 6 coins means that you have to get less spirits to get a similar effect. It might still be extremely powerful. The amount of coins gained from spirits from destroyed tomb is actually still higher than it was previously, exactly, even with the amount of spirits added having been reduced by 1. Yeah, I mean, this change definitely needed after buffing spirits. The 6% chance to the 5% chance, I don't think we'll notice that. But the fact that there are more 6s in the game, that's probably a good thing. Overall, there are a few that we really needed. There are a few that we're probably not going to notice a lot. And a few that need some thinking, right? I want to know how good B is right now, especially when we try to get a consistent strategy from it. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, I think I like all of these changes. There isn't any one of these that I actively dislike. There are a few where I'm like, there are just fundamental problems with something like Wanted Poster. There are fundamental problems with Swear Jar and Swear Jar Essence that the developer isn't fixing, and I understand why, because those have an important function. Just the entire game balance is made around symbols like that, so if you were to change things fundamentally around those, you would have to change multiple things. I don't know what that would mean, and so I think it makes sense that we have what we have here. Anyway, I like this content patch. Someday we will see screen resizing, and I think it will be very important, because that button on the bottom that always, right, the fact that you have to scroll every rent payment to pay your rent, it's just stupid. Anyway, let me know what you feel about this content patch reading. I'm okay with making these. It's good to keep my thoughts in order and to talk about stuff. So let me know, and I will see you on another Luck Be a Landlord video. So goodbye.